Hey, Bobby. How's it going, everyone? I'm Caitlin Raleigh. I am on the team here at Flocknote. I'm actually part of the marketing team. With me, I've got Bobby Angel. He's from the Word on Fire Institute. We are waiting for Matthew Warner, who is the founder of Flocknote, to join us. So as we're waiting for Matt, if you guys just want to pop in and tell us where you guys are from, we'd love to know where you're watching from today, how your Lent is going at your parish. We're super excited to have you here. And we're just going to give a few minutes to everyone to join and pop on. And yeah, we'll be looking forward to reading some of those comments. All right, welcome. I think I've got Matt Warner. So let me see if I can add him into the call real quick. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
I'm back.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, so, I got my screen slides back up there too. I'm sorry. It seems like 11 o'clock struck and the internet bleeped out. So
no worries. I just quickly introduced myself and Bobby, and we were asking everyone where they were joining us from and how Lent was going at their parish. So we were just giving everyone a few minutes to hop on and join in on us before we got started.
Perfect. Excited to be here.
Let's see, I'm seeing some Vancouver, St. Louis, Ottawa, Cornwall. That's awesome.
Hey, we got Ireland representing.
Nice. Happy St. Patrick's Day yesterday. All right. Caitlin, do you have my slides back as an option there?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get those for you.
All right. So we're ready to get started. All right, we'll jump right in, everybody, because we got a lot to cover today. And this is probably the Engage webinar I've been most excited about yet, and you're going to find out why. We've got a lot of exciting things to reveal and share with you today. I know a lot of you, some of you are coming from different places in terms of your use of Engage. Many of you have been using Engage maybe for a little while now. So you know a little bit of the basics by now. Some of you are brand new to it. Maybe you just started a trial, or you're thinking about starting a trial, or you've done a trial in the past and are maybe considering it again. So we wanted to go through a lot of the new and exciting things that are going on with Engage right now. A lot of you maybe attended our 82% webinar, which was hugely popular the last month. And so this is kind of a follow-on to that. It's both, we're going to talk about a little bit more about the 82% today and dig in a little bit more and try to understand them a little bit, because we had a lot of you asking about wanting to know more there. But we also wanted to talk to you about a lot of the things we're doing with Engage now and what Engage is in the process of becoming, because this is a growing project to basically address those needs that we highlighted in terms of the challenge of getting the 82% back to Mass, especially now with COVID and everybody being away from Mass for so long and wondering how many of them are actually going to come back. So we're in this with you guys together, and we've got some exciting things planned for this year to help address all of those concerns. I think you're going to really like it. We're also going to have Q&A at the end of the webinar today. So shoot those questions into the comment section over there, and we got some happiness engineers over there grabbing those, and we're going to try to get to as many as we can at the end, depending on how much time we have. If your question doesn't get answered, please do. You can send an email at any time to engage@flocknote.com, and we'll be happy to get those questions answered for you. But like I said, we're also going to go over what the future of Engage is and all of the exciting things we're adding to it this year, new content coming, as well as some fun announcements and surprises for you. But one of those new things is also the other guy on the call with me today, and it's Bobby Angel, who is a new member of the Word on Fire Engage team. He joined the Word on Fire Institute recently, and he's going to be actually heading up the entire Word on Fire Engage project, leading up with new content and all of these new things we're going to talk about today. So I want to introduce him to you right now as we get started. His title now is the Fellow of Parish Life at the Word on Fire Institute. You might know him already from the work that he and his wife Jackie have done at with the Ascension Presents, which were very popular. So you've probably seen him there. But welcome, Bobby. It's great to have you here, and excited to talk about all this stuff with you today.
Yeah, Matt, you and your Flocknote team have done such great work in ministering for the Lord, and in God's sense of humor, He shuffled things up for our family and brought us to a new state and a new job. And I'm excited to be a part of Word on Fire and to be given this great project of Engage that's already been in motion, but to try to get it to the next level and to bring back the lost. You know, that's the point of the whole thing, is not just more videos, more content, but to get people back in front of Christ. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges and what's next for the programming, but let's start with a prayer before we get into it. We
Perfect.
are about to celebrate the Feast of St. Joseph in the year of St. Joseph, so kind of big deal. So we ask for his intercession today. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is from Jeremiah. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose hope is the Lord. He is like a tree planted beside the waters that stretches out its roots to the stream. It fears not the heat when it comes. Its leaves stay green. In the year of drought, it shows no distress, but still bears fruit. Almighty God, who called St. Joseph to a life of quiet trust and faithful labor, grant us the grace to imitate Christ's foster father, that we may be pillars of patience and integrity in our homes, in our parishes, and places of work. Through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. In the Father,
Amen.
the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thanks, Bobby. Great opening. So before we get into a little bit more about the 82% and all these new announcements, I wanted to give a quick overview of kind of what Engage is and what Engage is becoming, like all this new stuff, because this has been an evolving project. It started out with a way to just try to get more of Bishop Barron's great content, which has been very effective with the 82% in a lot of ways, in front of more people. And of course, doing that through Flocknote with the delivery system of getting it in their email inboxes and their text message inboxes was very effective at doing that. But this has continued to grow, and we're really excited about a lot of the new things. But one thing, misconception people have about Engage, a lot of times they think it's just this content library. You know, it's just video content library that you can sort of pick from and be able to let your parishioners watch. And those things have their place, and they're really great. But as we've talked about in some of the other webinars, that by itself really only engages that same 7% that already know a lot of it. They enjoy it, it's great, but it's not the people that were struggling to get back into the church. And so we wanted Engage from the beginning to be something more than that, and to really overcome a lot of those barriers to get this stuff in front of more people. So what Engage is it is a content library of a lot of things you can pick from. So it is that also, but it's got a lot of content in there, including a lot of new stuff we're going to be launching this year that's really geared specifically for the consumption of the 82%, the people who need it most in the pews, who are drifting out, and to be effective at preempting a lot of the reasons they're leaving the church. And we'll get more into that. So it is that, but it also comes with not just the videos, it's pre-made emails, text messages, series of emails, series of text messages, subject lines, all the stuff all put together for you is all part of the package that you can grab, edit, send, right? So that's kind of step one. But along with that is the content delivery, which is so important, because you can make all these videos available to people all you want. If they don't actually end up watching them, they're not going to do any good. And so from the beginning, that was the unique partnership here between Flocknote and Word on Fire, was taking the great content of Word on Fire with the delivery capabilities of Flocknote and the click to watch thing that we integrated into it, to where you can buy this content for your parish send it out to them, they click and watch it without having to log in or do anything else. So that's a huge part of the success of Engage and reaching these folks. In addition to that, though, now we're going to be adding some really neat things. We're going to dive into each of these. So I'll just mention them briefly now, but there's going to be a community aspect to this. So you're not alone out there. If you're an Engage parish leader, a parish that's using Engage, you're going to have a community now of other leaders that have the same challenges. We're going to try to get you guys together more and be able to share what's working and what's not working. We're going to have training opportunities. So now that this is tied in with the Word on Fire Institute, opportunities for your own development, your own formation as a leader, and all of your parish staff and volunteers to be able to be formed in that, along with some coaching opportunities we're going to be doing some pilot programs on. And then something we're really excited about this year is we're adding in Bishop Barron. He's excited to get to do, he's going to do a couple of sessions this year only with you, with people who are using Engage, working at their parish. And so we're going to have a private audience with a group of you a couple times this year where you get to talk with Bishop Barron, ask him questions, and that's all included. All of this is included in the package whenever you have Engage for your parish. So just wanted to get that sort of clarified up front. In addition, before we dive into the 80%, I want to do a quick review of who they are and a little bit more of how the numbers came about, because we had some questions about that as well. So just some quick numbers for you to soak in. This is taken from different CARA studies, Pew studies, as well as Dynamic Catholic study as well that they did on the 7%. So there's 53 million Catholic adults in the United States right now who identify as Catholic. There's actually 26 million who have left the church, and we talk about those as well. Those are the nuns, the ones that no longer associate themselves with the Catholic Church or identify as Catholic. If you ask them, they would say that their religious affiliation is none, N-O-N-E, right? Or atheists, secularists, all of those. That's the 26 million who have left the church. Within the 53 million who still identify as Catholic, there's 11% that never show up, right? So this is the 11% that still say they're Catholic, but never show up or are involved in any way in the parish. Within that, you have 39% who show up on a given Sunday. So on a given Sunday, 39% of all the Catholics on average who identify as Catholic in the United States are at Mass. I always find this amazing because they're still showing up. Huge numbers of them sitting in our pews, but still only 39% on a given Sunday. Within that, there's 21% who are the same group. They show up every Sunday. There's 21% of Catholics that are faithful weekly Mass attendees. So they show up every Sunday, same group. And then, so you can see there of the 39%, about half, 21 out of the 39, are the same group every Sunday. But when you're looking out at your congregation on Sunday morning, about half the people are a rotating different group of people. It's not always the same group, but it's the rest of those 53 million adults minus the 11% that never come, rotating through there in different ways. Sometimes once a month, sometimes every couple of weeks, sometimes just Christmas and Easter, whatever those are. That's the average. And then within that, you have the 7%. So the 7% are the ones that do almost all the giving and all the volunteering. So these are what we call our dynamic or engaged Catholics that, they're the ones that are trying to show up to Mass right now if they can. They're the ones already coming back to whatever restrictions are allowed where you live. But it's this group here that are still not showing up largely. And this is what we call the 82%. And they're the ones that are largely drifting out of the church right now. They're the ones we're not sure if we're going to get them to come back or what percentage of them might never come back again after this. And so we're trying to really address this issue and why it's unique. It's like, why not go after the 11%? Why not the 26 million who left the church? And we should go after those. But as parish leaders, this is where the bleeding is occurring right now. We have to stop the bleeding right now. And so what's unique about the 82% is they're still showing up sometimes, at least pre-COVID. They're still a little bit engaged in your parish in some way. And so we have to find ways to take that and keep them from, instead of drifting out, try to pull them back in, get them leaning back in instead of drifting out. Because right now they are slowly en masse drifting out of the church, further away from your parish, not closer to it. So that's kind of the recap of the whole thing. But we want to talk a little bit more today about why do the 82% keep drifting out. So I'm going to throw this over to Bobby to jump into some of those things. Now, because a lot of this information that we're going to talk about here is what informs what content we create and are planning to create with Engage and make available for you to try to address a lot of these issues.
Yeah, and it's not a monolith, this 82%. You could break it down by age, although people will drift at any age. It's more and more the young. It used to be around age 18, 19, college age, when a young person would make up their mind, I'm going to stay in the faith of my family or not. It's younger and younger. It's age 13, 14, 15. A young person is saying, my faith is worth pursuing, or this is dumb, I'm out. I just worked at a Catholic high school for over 8 years, and I saw it. I saw freshmen that came in as self-proclaimed atheists, and they thought they knew everything, and that was fun. That was fun to dismantle and meet their arguments if they had any arguments. But I saw it firsthand that the will to pursue one's faith, if you're coming out of a family of faith, is diminishing younger and younger. The whole strategy, if it was ever a proclaimed strategy of when it comes to young adults getting married, and don't worry, we'll get them back when they need to get married and need their kids baptized, is not happening, because more and more of our generation is choosing to not get married, to just live together, and if ever get married, have a baby, and then maybe never come back for baptism. So the whole strategy of, well, we're just going to wait around until they need their sacraments, it was a losing strategy anyway, and it's definitely not working anymore. Now, within that, again, 82%, as they start to drift, Brandon Vogt, who's the host and content director of the Word on Fire podcast, and bigger content producer for Word on Fire, wrote an excellent book called Return, Bringing Your Child Back to the Church. And he breaks down the indifferent. So those that are sliding into this state of indifference. And I'm just going to run through real quick on some of these categories. And I want to say too that we all know individuals who may fall into these categories, and it could be a friend or a family member, and it could be us. And maybe we had our own journey of wrestling with the faith, of leaving the church for some time, and we're back now and we're all in. And so it's important to come out of a place of like, this isn't a judgment on the people, but it's surveying the issue. The doctor has to give the honest diagnosis before he can get to the cure. So don't get too depressed. We're just kind of looking at different categories and the lay of the land of the church today. So you have kind of the slide into the indifference, cultural Catholics, those that would still say they're Catholic, show up Christmas and Easter, not necessarily are living the faith or it's having any influence on their decisions, but they would still identify as I'm Catholic or I'm Catholic, and then give a litany of what they don't really agree with or they don't practice. You have the shruggers. It's the spirit of meh, I can't be bothered. Like, yeah, and I saw this working at a high school is just there's no energy, there's no wind in the sails when it comes to the question of God or the faith or the big things of why am I here? Why is there something in existence rather than nothing? Meh, I can't be bothered. Like, that's cool if you like it. I'm not really into it. The spiritual but not religious, which will acknowledge a soul, will acknowledge the importance of faith, but is anti-institution, is not all about rules and commandments and all that. And that's appealing for, again, supposedly free, unrestricted lifestyle. The moral movers, those that for them, the moral issue of, let's say, abortion is something they can't get on board with, or same-sex marriage, or whatever the hot button issue is, that's their stumbling block. The religious switchers, a lot of Catholics will sometimes go to an evangelical church, one that has more high energy music or high energy preaching, and is more appealing to the senses, so to speak. A lot of fallen away Catholics say they just didn't feel fed. They didn't feel like they had community. I wasn't known. I never knew you could have a personal relationship with Jesus. How sad is that? That so many Catholics fall away, and that's one of the reasons they leave the Catholic Church. And then you have the NONES, the nuns, this rise in, which is all kind of lumped under skeptics, usually depending on the survey of atheists, agnostics, nuns. And so the point is, again, to see like, here's the lay of the land and here's what's happening right now. And I would add two other categories here of the uninvited, those waiting for an invitation, as well as those who need community. It often is the sense that I can just show up and clock in, clock out at a parish for years, and no one ever calls me out to leadership. No one ever calls me out to be involved. And I think we need that explicitly. Like, Jesus did not do everything himself. We need to be able to identify, and we're going to burn ourselves out if we're that micromanaging type and we're trying to do everything for the rest of the parish. We need to ask the Holy Spirit for guidance to identify who are the potential leaders, who are the potential people in the pews. I just need to ask, hey, I could use a hand with this. I need a hand teaching some classes. I need a hand hosting a Bible study. We all have different gifts of hospitality or teaching, in front of the scenes, behind the scenes. We need to identify who just needs to be asked, and as well as community. Again, many Catholics feel like they were never part of a community that cared for them, and that's why they leave. That's what a lot of secular organizations in the world, like CrossFit, Peloton, even like a lot of fitness industries, get that. I want to walk in and feel like I'm known and I belong. People know me, and they're going to challenge me to be better than when I walked into the room. And we need to identify that and ask, are we doing that at our parish? Are we a place where you walk in and you feel like there's a community here? And that's difficult to do if you're trying to break the mold, or your parish is in a bit of a rut. And then COVID, the challenges of COVID obviously have thrown us all for a loop here. And so, Matt, I would say to not get depressed. The realities can be harrowing, but we're all called to be a people of hope. We're all called to stay faithful, even though every age has its different challenges here. Every age has its different hurdles, and God's given us the blessing of technology and new means and expression to reach those who are having issues with the church, or feeling like their questions aren't being asked, feeling like they don't have community. We're called to be faithful in and out of season here.
Yeah, and that's what makes me so inspired by, I think, all these people on this call today, all the interest we've had in Engage, because all of these people, all of you out there listening, you have that hope. You know that this, and you're inspired to try to do something about it. You know, you're on the front lines out there, and you know that there's these opportunities to hopefully change this, and that these are pivotal moments for these parishioners where they might leave and never come back again. Right now, we can still reach them. We can still talk to them. What can we do? And so what Bobby just laid out is a reminder also that, we've said this from the beginning with Engage, sending people a video is not evangelization. That's not what's going to just get somebody back in here, but it's part of the solution. There's lots of layers here. With the Engage videos, the goal is to, in some cases, it might be to educate your existing parishioners about these issues so that they can answer these questions for parishioners or family members who are struggling with those different, different categories of indifference that Bobby mentioned. In a lot of cases, it's video itself that might make one of those parishioners who is struggling with, like, well, I'm spiritual but not religious. Why is that a big deal? But having something that makes them think from a great presentation or a short video, like, might spark that interest again to go, okay, maybe I should rethink that if someone said it to them the right way. So that's the goal of this content. And each of these categories of indifference is now driving what types of content we're creating. So again, we're going to dive into that next, of some of the new content we have coming out this year for Engage. That's one layer of it. But now Engage is really expanding to be something where you have community, where you can talk with other leaders. You're going to have coaching and personal formation, which is all part of the plan. What Bobby's talking about is that you have this content that sparks interest, but then that's where a lot of the real work kicks in. Now we have to answer the questions for people when they come to us with those questions. Now we have to be willing to go out and invite them in and ask them what their questions are, ask them what they're struggling with, and then have good answers for them and bring them into a community and have, help them build good relationships in their parish. That's one of the key things we know that causes people to drift out, is that do they have any good friends that go to their parish? Do they, because when they don't show up, did anybody miss them? Did anyone go, hey, where were you last Sunday? You know, so those things are really powerful human things. Like Bobby mentions CrossFit. That's what happens in those places. You know, if you miss it, someone's going, hey, what were you doing? Why'd you miss your workout? You know, and that's, people like feeling known in that way and feeling like they're missed. And so that's all part of the strategy here with Engage, helping equip you with this knowledge, helping train you in ways to do this, and help you connect with each other so you can learn from each other and we can learn from you so we can keep going and try to solve this problem. So next, we're going to jump into a little bit of new content. So I'll let Bobby dive into this, because these are some of the projects he's jumped straight into in his new role. Is, oh my goodness, we have so many great ideas for content for Engage. Let's get going on it. And here's some of the first ones we're working on. We're excited to share with you guys.
Yeah, and thankfully there's a lot in the pipeline already. I started working here like 3 months ago, so I'm pretending like I know what I'm doing. I've made it this far. You know, Father Spitzer, I heard a talk by Father Robert Spitzer recently, and he's this brilliant priest. He used to be a president of Gonzaga University, and he just brings he's a priest, but knows quarks and black holes and all sorts of like crazy stuff. But he just was saying we're all drawn to different dimensions of the faith by different avenues and affinities. For some people, it's beauty, it's artwork, it's music. That's what's going to get through to them. For some people, it's the intellect. They want argument and logic. Some people, it's the good. It's, how do I live a good life? How do I go be a just man or woman? And so it's important too that we keep creating content and talking points to hit all those different things. So again, Engage began, I want to say though as well, thank you to everyone who's been a part of using Engage. Those who've used it before, who are thinking about jumping back on. If you're using a free trial during Lent, I encourage you to stick around, because we got some really exciting development coming down. The movement's growing fast, and I was brought on specifically because they see the need. They see how there's room to keep growing this Engage program, to keep working with Flocknote, and do more for the new evangelization. So we have Catholicism 101, which is an exclusive Engage content, which is coming out, should be coming out right at Pentecost. New, short, sweet, targeted videos from our different friends of the Institute and fellows, all targeted to those who really don't know their faith, who maybe have grown up in the faith, but really couldn't articulate it if you put them on the spot. And we've got dynamic presenters such as Sister Josephine, Father Blake Britton, Father Gadberry, my friend from Florida, Rachel Bowman, and we've got Jonathan Rumi. So we've got Jesus himself. No, we've got the actor who played Jesus on The Chosen, contributing, and a few others contributing some video content, short and sweet, going through different aspects of the faith, of who Jesus is, and that are going to be rolled out very soon. We've also got.
You're only going to be able to get that. You're only going to be able to get that through Engage, right, Bobby?
Yeah. So if you're currently using Engage, or you're going to renew, or you're going to come back to it, you're going to have these exclusive videos to send out to your parishioners. The second thing I'm working on right now is, this was inspired by COVID, is a series on why come back to Mass. And that's my ugly mug right there doing some test videoing for it. Why come back to Mass? It's been pretty nice to not have to go to Mass in a pandemic. I can just watch it virtually. Why should I bother coming back? So with those questions in mind, we're developing content from a few of the fellows here who will be presenting, again, short, sweet, like 2 to 5 minute videos, because the modern attention span keeps getting shorter and shorter. But to, again, start the conversation that you as parish leaders can then pick up the ball and keep going with it. As well as a series on return, which is Brandon Vogt's new book, which really focuses on bringing the people who've left the church back, and particularly for parents, grandparents, even again, youth ministers, teachers, who, you know, we have the heart of St. Monica, who's suffering and have poured ourselves out, but again, with free will, and everyone has a journey. Some people are going to leave. Some people are going to go elsewhere, and we have to be faithful and do our part, and then also be proactive in how do we help pave the road so that People want to come back. I think COVID has accelerated certain aspects and highlighted maybe some issues at the parish level, but it's also, again, to be people of hope, to recognize like people are hungry. People are hungry for community. People are hungry for purpose and for the transcendent. And we tell our story right. If we tell the story of Christ and his church well, people are going to see it. Maybe for the very first time, they're going to get it. Light bulbs are going to go on in new ways because of what we've all been through this past year. And again, it's not one size fits all, right, Matt? There's a variety of content already in existence with the Engage platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of this, there's a range of stuff. I love all the new focus, all the new content coming out, because it really is aimed to address the crisis and situation right now in such a unique way. With the Why Come Back to Mass series, Catholicism 101, which is going to really, be short, targeted videos about issues people have, questions about the faith, about why we believe certain things or whatever. But then the return as well, return focus, which is really like it is addressing why people have left the church, but those are also the reasons or people are still drifting out of the church. So when you look at the 82%, a lot of them fall into one of those categories or are falling into one of those categories, and that's why they're drifting slowly out. Because it's not one event that normally causes someone to leave. It's that slow indifference over time, and eventually they stop showing up. So we want to address those issues now with the people who are still showing up, so they don't become some of the people who have left the church. So having content really targeted at those things, I think, is brilliant and exciting, and I think it hasn't been done yet ever. And so this is unique content only available on Engage. So next, I want to. So this is just in a taste. Like this is going to keep. We're going to keep creating new content like this. This isn't a one-time thing. And based on your feedback of what's working and what we need to focus on, or what's culturally relevant right now, that's going to be the new path forward with Engage, or the path forward from here. So next, I want to talk about one more thing. Included in all this content, of course, is whenever you log into Flocknote, and this is a mock-up of some of the things we're working on and what's to come, is really organizing all of this so you don't have to dig through an encyclopedia of a huge deep library of content and try to figure out what's relevant right now to send. But part of what you get with Engage is the guidance of the Engage team saying, here's the feast days that are coming up. Here's some content that are great. Here's an email already prepped to teach your parishioners a little something about, Solemnity of St. Joseph, or whatever's coming up this month or this season. Here's some stuff for Lent. If you've been using it now, you can see a little taste of this in there right now, where you have things that are happening culturally now. There's March Madness emails in there that can connect with the 82% about something there, but tie it back to something spiritual and faith related. So really trying to be relevant to your parishioners, to create the communications, have them all ready for you to go, but then have them all laid out for you. So when you log in each month on Engage, you're seeing new content ready for you that's relevant to current events happening now, or a feast day happening now, or some liturgical event in the life of the church. So that's an additional part of the content part of this. But I also want to move into the delivery capabilities now as well, because this is something a lot of folks don't quite grasp if you haven't used Flocknote before, maybe if you're coming into this. But this is an essential part of this whole plan. It doesn't work without being able to get it in front of people with the right capabilities. Because we've seen this before. A lot of times this is the 7%, 82% problem, is churches keep creating tools, communicating using channels, and using language and everything else that the 7% likes. That it's by the 7%, and it ends up only reaching the 7%. And if you want to reach the 82%, we have to pick different channels that they will actually communicate on and receive content on and actually watch it. And we have to start talking differently as well. But the Flocknote is a key thing. There's been no other communication tool in the church that has, I think, been able to reach as many of the 82% as Flocknote has. And that's because of its focus on email and texting, which for your lesser engaged folks, like the 82%, they're not going to go log in somewhere. They're not going to create an account somewhere. They're not going to remember code and put it in or do anything else to try to watch something. If they have to jump through a lot of hoops, you just missed the opportunity. And so what we've done with Flocknote in our integration with Word on Fire Engage content is to make that easy to send out. So first of all, the fact that you can now email or text message everyone in your parish, and we help you actually import all your contacts or use text to join to gather contacts. So if you don't have most of your parishioners' email address and cell phone number, we make that easy to get. And it's so important right now that you get everybody's email addresses and cell phone numbers. Those are the most important contact info to get. From there, you can get anything else. So if you don't have that yet, let our team help you get that from all your parishioners. Because now you can reach 5 to 10 times as many people as you could probably reach via any other channel you might have to communicate with. Okay, so first, we let you do that and send the content over that way. But additionally, I mentioned it before, this unique click-to-watch integration to where you've purchased all this premium content that otherwise they would have to pay for to go watch or whatever, but you've got it at a great deal for them, and you're able to send it out to all your parishioners, and all they have to do is click the link in the text or click the video in the email, and they immediately get to watch it. They don't have to create an account. They don't have to remember a password. They don't have to log in anywhere or do anything like that. They immediately get to watch it. And so that's a critical part of this. If you don't have that part and you're sending content out to people, it's very difficult for the 82% to end up watching it. In addition to that, within Flocknote, you have the ability to more smartly target your groups. So maybe you need to send a video about focusing on maybe some in-depth study of like Lenten practices or something. You don't want to send that maybe to everyone in the parish. Maybe that's just to your RCIA group. Or maybe you just want to send a video to just the men of the parish. Or maybe it's just for the youth of the parish or the parents of the youth ministry, right? So there's different content that you're going to want to send to different folks to deal with certain issues or certain thing you're covering at the time or that's relevant. And so then Flocknote, to be able to send it to just that group of people is really a powerful thing to do, so you can get the right content to the right subgroups within the parish. You can also look at people in Flocknote based on how engaged they are even. So you could say, show me all the people that haven't joined another group in the parish, that aren't involved in a ministry in the parish. Maybe I want to send them a certain type of content or a communication. Or maybe I want to send something, send a follow-up to people who attended a retreat, and I want to just follow up with something that we covered at the retreat that's really relevant for them, right? So there's so many ways you can do that. So when you think about the content and how you use it, it's not how often can I send all this content out to everybody in my parish. It's how can I be more intentional with the right piece of content to the right group. And so you have to have the right delivery capabilities to do that. In addition, I'm going to run through these quickly because I don't want to go too long on time, but you can track who's opening it, how many people are watching it, how many people are clicking it. You have an easy way for people to opt in, so you can send an email out to your whole parish. Maybe you have like I said, a 5-week Lenten series that we have already created for you. You want to send it out, but you don't want to send it to everybody in the parish because maybe they don't want to sign up for that. But you could send out an email and say, click this link if you'd like to sign up for this, and that'll automatically opt them into being able to get into that group or subscribe to that series of emails or that ministry or anything else. So all that's built into Flocknote. Another way you might want to use this stuff is just to sprinkle it into your weekly newsletter. If you don't have already have a weekly email newsletter you send out as a parish, you need one. This is one of the most fundamental ways that a parish should be communicating today, is to have a solid weekly email newsletter, and you can sprinkle this content into that as well. You could offer it as just sending out a gift, a one-time blast to your parishioners, of course, like here's the Catholicism series or here's Pivotal Player series you can watch together. We help to identify teaching moments within the life of the church. And of course, like the easy follow-up engagement is all built in. This is, again, an important part of this. We've mentioned like just getting content in front of people is just the beginning of it. From that, if people reply back, what do you do? How do you handle the comments? How do you have one-on-one text message or email conversations afterward? Flocknote has all of that built in. It tracks it for you. It helps you do it in a safe environment, compliant way. And all of that comes together with Engage. So that's the delivery capability part. We're going to jump into a couple of the other new things we got going now that if you've done Engage in the past, you haven't experienced any of this yet because we're only just now getting ready to launch it. So I'll let Bobby run through that quickly here and introduce that to you.
Yeah, so thank you, Matt. One of the big things I've been tasked with is not just content creation for Engage, taking that to the next level, but also through the Institute, helping to form evangelists, helping to provide opportunities for further community networking, formation of you, the parish leaders. And so through the Institute, we're going to be launching very soon an online community for the engaged parish leaders. And so through the Institute software, only you will have access to this community page, which is going to offer different forums and groups. So you're able to get together, share resources, what's working, what's not working, network, have different formation and coaching as well, through with an opportunity to engage with some of our Word on Fire fellows, to receive courses. So that's one of the big asks I get is parishes see maybe the value of the Institute, and want the Institute courses for everyone, but it's really geared for individual formation. But what we want to do is essentially offer your parish staff access to this. So to receive courses on that can be updated and shuffled around. And so that this is going to be a living page of like Elizabeth Scalia's The 5 S's of Effective Evangelization, our fellow Matt Nelson's course on reaching the indifferent. You'll be able to take with your parish staff if you're signed up with Engaged. As well as, again, live formation, coffee talks once a week with some of our Word on Fire Institute staff. That's going to be launched soon, and this is added on to your Engage membership. So it's not an added cost. It's if you're using Engage through Flocknote, you're going to have access to this community page very soon.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, it's when I heard about what Word on Fire Institute was doing with the formation of individuals, I signed up. I've already been taking a lot of the courses in there because I love all that stuff, and there's so many good teachers there. But now I think the idea that we're applying this to parish leadership is so exciting, and I think it fits right perfectly with Engage. So I was excited to add this as part of what we're offering. And again, this is included with Engage. You get all of these training resources for your whole parish staff. If your parish is using Engage, your whole parish staff gets access to any of these courses that they can take individually to try to become better evangelizers, to try to understand the indifferent more, to try to understand how to teach these things more effectively, and they build community and try to answer these questions for folks. So anyway, it's such it's almost too much. Like there's so many things now that we're offering as part of Engage, but it really is becoming the full package, I think, for people who really want to address these issues with their parishioners. And then of course we have one more exciting bonus thing, which we were able to get included this year, and that's that we asked Bishop Barron if he would be willing to actually meet with all of you as Engage users. So if you're an Engaged parish, you're going to have an opportunity to attend. There's going to be 2 of them this year, and basically it'll be a private Q&A audience that you get, Bishop Barron. Of course, it'll be over Zoom or whatever, virtual. But you'll get to ask your questions, get his, hear his answers, and pick his brain on all this stuff. And he jumped at the opportunity to do it when we asked him. So he's real excited to get to talk to all of you and get to hear your questions and engage directly with you about these issues. So I think that's going to be a really neat addition to this community that we're building here of engaged parish leaders. All right, so just to wrap up, and then we'll get to some of your questions. I wanted to just review again, Engage is not just the video content library. Hopefully that's obvious by now after looking at all this stuff. And I just want to recap. You get all this content, all of the Word on Fire digital content, basically everything that Word on Fire digital has created, all of the film series, so you get, it's got all this content we're talking about, but all of, you've heard of a lot of it, the Creed, Catholicism series, Pivotal Players, all that stuff. All included in this that you can now send. Normally, you have to buy this on a DVD or digitally, and it would cost something for an individual to get it. But this is something you're getting at a hugely discounted rate to be able to now send out in this way. Along with that, you get all the work done for you on pre-made communications, emails, text, subject lines, series of emails, all that stuff ready and arranged for you according to the time of year, so that it's easy for you to find, know what you should be thinking about, what to send next, give you some different ideas. You get all the content delivery capability stuff that I talked about that uniquely reaches the 82%, like nothing else does. You get this new opportunity to form community with all your other parish engaged leaders. You're going to get the training, the formation and coaching, the coaching pilot program we got going this year, along with access to all of the Word on Fire Institute courses that your parish staff will now have access to for their own personal formation in their roles. We have bonus, Q&A with Bishop Barron, all included in this. And you get all of this included for less than $2,000 a year. Is for as big as many parishioners as you have, as big as your parish is, it doesn't matter. This is all included in this. And so it's just such an amazing opportunity for your parish staff and volunteers to be able to take advantage of all of this and help us as a group address this really critical issue of the 82% drifting out of the church. And just if that all wasn't enough, along with this, every parishioner actually does still get their own subscription to Word on Fire Digital. So if you wanted to say to get the whole Catholicism series normally costs $50. If you wanted to get that as a gift for say 1,000 families in your parish, that would cost $50,000. But with this, for all under $2,000 a year, you are getting access for all of your parishioners, no matter how big your parish is, to have access to the Catholicism series, the Pivotal Players series, the Creed, the Sacraments, the Mass, all the amazing series that Word on Fire have developed for all those things, the school enrichment program, all this content, everything coming in. Every single parishioner can have their own, they can load the app on the TV, on the phone or device and have access to it personally because your parish has bought this. So it's a great gift as a parish where you're able to get this great deal on all this stuff that you can then offer to all of your parishioners as well. So all of that combined makes this such a huge opportunity. So I hope that you won't let your parish miss out on this this incredible offering of all this value and things. And remember, what comes along with all of this is all the customer service for us to help you through this. So if you're overwhelmed by all that, you don't know where to start, that's what we're here for. So email us at engage@flocknote.com. You can see more details at flocknote.com/engage if you need to, but keep that email address handy, engage@flocknote.com. If you have any question, reach out. We want to help you take advantage of this, help you understand how you can utilize it better at your parish, help you grow your usage of it so you can really get all the value out of it that's really there being offered to you. So with that, let's jump into a few questions here. Caitlin, were you able to gather some out of all the great comments over there? I see them all flying by kind of fast while I'm presenting here, but thank you so much for everybody's participation.
Yeah, it's been great to see all the questions. And so Mary and Kathy, who are on the Flocknote team, have been in there answering a few as we go. But we do have a few common themes that I've seen come through the comments. So I want to pass a few along to you guys to see if we get some input. So one of them being Spanish content. So we gotten a lot of comments about, it's obviously a growing part of the population, and kind of what's the future plan for Spanish content and Engage.
We already have a number of Word on Fire videos dubbed over for Bishop Barron. And I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. We do have certain emails already in Spanish, like pre-loaded emails ready to go. Down the pipeline, it is very much on my heart to reach the Spanish population we have within the church. I'm from Florida. I lived in California. I'm living in Texas now. So I see the need, and the huge need right now, to be able to reach people in their native tongue. And so my hope is to hire a colleague soon they can speak Spanish well, that it's not just dubbed over videos, but we can create like original content in Spanish. Is already on the table. One of the things I'm looking to very soon.
And your investment your investment as a parish in Engage is what's going to help us keep growing that, because like Bobby said, there's a huge desire for us to expand the resources. It's just, it takes time and it takes investment in people and hiring people and creating content, supporting content, and all that kind of stuff. So the more we grow this thing, which it is growing quickly, which is fantastic. We've had so much interest in this, and so we perceive all of this happening. It's just the quicker we grow, the faster we can make all of that happen. But it's definitely, the desire is there, and we've already done a lot. There's a lot of content already in Spanish on there.
Awesome, thank you guys. And just I'm going to add a little bit too. You can write in Flocknote in any language. So I know we've got some French Canadians too, and they ask what about French. So if you have a native speaker, you can send out emails and text messages in your native language. So that's always helpful too. Okay, next question. I've seen a few of these comments just float through. Is a lot of people are kind of like, how do I overcome the passivity of information overload, or that no one's reading my emails? How do I break through that, or what is to do about that?
Yeah, good question. Common challenge. Everybody gets too many emails and too much information. And we talk about this actually. So if you want more resources to go deeper on this, go to findinguno.com. That's our podcast at Flocknote. And we actually have a number of shows on exactly this issue. So if you want to learn more on this, please findinguno.com, subscribe there, and you can check out some of the existing videos and shows that we've done on this topic. But the two main things you have to do is, number one, we have to get a lot better at the email we send. So the quality has to be better. So people get more email than they've ever gotten before, but they also read more email than they've ever gotten before. It's just they skip through the ones that are a high value. So the ones that they trained, they know, oh, I always like that one, or that are from people they care about or know and love the most. They read those and they skip past a lot of the other ones. So we have to get a lot better as a church in the kind of email we send. Of course, that's part of what we help you do in writing these emails for you in Engage, is try to create them in a way that they are high value. You want to be generally shorter and to the point, especially with the 82%. And you want to train them that you're always delivering high value content. But part of that is also being relevant to them. So if you're going to send an altar server announcement out to the whole parish, and they learn that I get emails from you often that have a lot of information that doesn't pertain to me, then you're training me to do the opposite. You're training me to skip past email, because normally most of the information is not for me. And the key to that is segmenting your lists. So you really want to target right people with the right content. So again, if you have an announcement to the altar servers, send it to just the altar server group, which is all built into something you can do in Flocknote. And it's the same with this content. If you have something that's geared towards the youth, don't send it to everybody. If you have something that's geared towards people who are not that engaged, don't send it to the really engaged folks. So you need to separate those lists. And again, that's something we can help you do within Flocknote, so that you're getting the right content to the right people. So that way, when they do engage your content or open it, the experience for them is a really good one. Oh, wow, this really was helpful. This really was for me. This really was worth my time. I was able to get through it quickly and get to the part that was really great. So that's a couple of things I can share there. But again, there's a lot more to learn in that sense. So I encourage you to check out some of our other resources.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And I have one last question. It's kind of on a related note. A lot of people asking, how do I get more volunteers? How do I take these people from this passivity to being engaged? So, sort of like, what is that next step? You send out the engaged content and emails or text message, but sort of what comes after that?
Bobby, do you want to chime in on that?
You have thoughts, Matt, first?
Yeah, well, sure, absolutely. So, this is something we think about a lot at Flocknote, because we're helping parishes grow their engagement in all different ways, but it builds from the core. And so if you can't build a small group of engaged people, you're not going to get a large group of engaged people. And the way that you scale a community is by your ability to scale individual relationships. And so training volunteers to be able to be good representatives of your parish, and Bobby talks about this, and I know he's going to be covering some of this kind of stuff in his coaching sessions and the pilot program we're going to do with you guys, is how do you teach people to invite other people and get into those conversations? So there's certainly some training that needs to go on. We see it very often that even something, I think probably all relate to this. You have a lot of interest in a parish where, like, you have a ministry fair and you have all your ministry tables out, and you take volunteer people, write down their name. Oh yeah, I'd like to help out with that. I can't tell you how many times we hear later, I wrote my name down, never heard anything. Right? So there's just no follow-up. There's the volunteers or the people leading those ministries haven't been trained in a way to do their follow-up and engage the people that want to help. So a lot of times we have excited, dynamic members of our parish that we're just not giving them a channel. We're not able to use their excitement and use them in an effective way. So some of it's just finding out who those people are. This is something we do with the text to join process with Flocknote. If you want volunteers or people getting involved in ministries, you can let them text in a keyword or sign up on your website and immediately ask them which ministries or volunteer places do you want to volunteer, and they can click, and immediately it's like a sign up Sunday in 2 minutes. But they do it, you can do it after Mass on Sunday, you can do it virtually, whatever, right there on their phone. But immediately they can get an automated welcome email telling them what they need to do to get involved. Of course, now you've empowered every single one of those ministry leaders to have their own list of people that they can communicate with. So part of it is you need to empower each of your volunteers or your leaders of these ministries to communicate with their group of people and make it easy. And so again, that's all built into Flocknote and therefore part of Word on Fire Engage. So improving communication and helping those leaders be good leaders that are listening to their volunteers and giving them an outlet for their energy of how they want to help and things they want to do. But I mean, there's so many places you can go here with how you manage volunteers. It is something, actually, a topic we're going to do some more resources on at Flocknote because it is so relevant to a lot of our leaders. But it starts with building that core group around you and forming you. And I think, again, those are some of the areas we're trying to include with Engage now with the Institute short courses you can do with the Institute, where you're forming yourself. If you're able to give your volunteers your other staff that training now also. So you saw one of the examples up there, the 5 S's of evangelization, is one of the short Institute courses you can take. So really getting them fired up about how to do it and what to do and like where to aim their excitement and their zealousness, to really make it effective and bring it together. Those are a few thoughts that come to mind that I think we're going to be able to help with that as part of the Engage community, and also some additional resources we're planning on developing at Flocknote.
Yeah, and the last thing to that point is we think sometimes we can do it better than Jesus did. And we want big numbers and we want big showings. And he took 12. And he had a core group of 3. So it can look like this isn't going anywhere or it's taking too long, but it's the forming of who you already have and asking the Holy Spirit to open your eyes to who's already showing up, who's already there that you don't see. Like you say hi to them and you walk by them, but you realize like, hey, they're here every Sunday. And maybe I just need to ask them like, hey, would you like to get involved? Is there a ministry that you'd like to be a part of? And watch out. Like once we have that bit of boldness to be spiritual multipliers, and again, Flocknote, you guys are like the Chick-fil-A of like ministries where you guys are so happy. You're so polite. Like your team is incredible when it comes to how do I deal with this information overload? How do I send emails better? You have such an amazing team in-house to equip parish leaders to take the next steps and keep developing.
Yeah, and there's so much to say about that, but I think it is. You said it perfectly. Like Jesus had 12. And personal relationships are such a core foundation for evangelization. And so you can, as a leader, you can evangelize 100, 1,000 people at once. You can create the moments. You can spark the interest with some of this content. But ultimately, you need to arrange the environment, the atmosphere, where your volunteers that are going out and making their own 12 set of relationships of friends and people that they have within the community, and then those people are going out and connecting. It's the ability of a parish or any organization to multiply that is what makes a strong, big organization. And I think too often we kind of want that shortcut of like, I'm just going to go to everybody and try to get lots of people. But like if it's not working on a small level, it's not going to work on a big level. But anyway, those are some of the things that I can't wait to dive into when we get into some of these sessions with you guys, where we break into smaller groups and can really have more one-on-one conversations with you, or small group conversations with you as engaged parish leaders, to really dig into these things, because a lot of you have great ideas to share to answer that as well, for what's worked at your parish and what's been hard, how you've overcome certain challenges. So I think that's one of the things we're excited about, is to really bring that kind of knowledge, wisdom together as a group and work on solving these challenges together. So I hope everyone will really stick with us here as Engage continues to evolve and develop, and we're continuing to add more and more stuff. Like this offering right now really is incredible for your parish. It's like from a cost standpoint, it's a no-brainer for the value you get for it. And it'll be exciting, I think, to be a part of this as we continue to make it better and better, add more and more content, address these real issues in the world for the church. There's been nothing like this so far in the church. And so we're excited to really take this to the next level. And I hope all of you will stick with your trial and convert to a regular Engage member if you're doing a trial right now. If you've already been doing Engage in the past, we hope you keep sticking with us. Like I said, there's a lot of growth here. There's a lot of new parishes coming in. It's been really exciting, and I think it's going to be really fun to do this together. All right, we'll wrap it up there because we're at a little over an hour now. So we thank you for sticking around, and we wish we could answer even more questions. But again, those are things we hope to get into in future webinars and in some of these small groups coaching sessions and training. Community forums that we have set up for you guys. So stay tuned for that. We'll be sending out, if you are a member of Engage, we will be sending out more information on that very soon. We hope to have some of this new content starting to roll out by Pentecost. So in the next month or two here, you're going to start getting more communications if you're a member of Engage on how to get involved in the community, how to get plugged into your institute courses, how to get potential to join up like one of these pilot small groups. Coaching groups that we're going to be working on, as well as access to all the new content. So anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll keep praying for you and the work that you're doing. Please pray for us here. And, please don't hesitate to ask us how we can help. We'd love to help you in any way. So keep that email address handy and reach out anytime you need something. Thank you guys very much, and God bless.